What's up, guys? This is Chad with Living the Van Life, and right now I'm up here on the Alaska Highway in the middle of nowhere, Canada. This is episode number 2 of my van life journey through British Columbia, across the Yukon, into Northwest Territories on my way to the Arctic Ocean. I'd be lying to you 100% if I said that I was not nervous about this trek. Matter of fact, I'm nervous as hell. I am one of the first outsiders to be able to come in and experience this in nearly 2 years. This is no joke for sure. If anything were to go wrong in trying to survive out here, it wouldn't take long. It's up here in the far north of Canada where this journey to the Arctic gets even more serious. Guys, welcome to the adventure, and let's go find out what this has to offer. This morning I left the town of Whitehorse in southern Yukon, making the 242-mile trek to the town of Whitehorse. The temperature is 3 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 16 degrees Celsius. The snow is coming down hard. The roads are treacherous, ice, extremely slippery. If I just touch the brakes, the tires lock up and slide. I've got 5 hours of driving in this, but who knows how that'll go in these conditions. Driving in this is all hands on deck, mentally. The snow continues to fall harder and harder. The road is becoming flat white, ever harder to discern where the lanes are and where the road ends and the ditch begins. I was just beginning to second guess my decision in continuing to make this drive all the way to Whitehorse in these conditions. Perhaps it's a little crazy and irresponsible doing this. Then all of a sudden I'm passed by 2 motorcyclists who are completely exposed to these weather conditions. Then I realized if they're making this trek in this kind of weather, well, I can certainly be making this trek here inside my van. The snow has now let up and the visibility on the road is much, much better. Matter of fact, the clouds have lifted and now I'm able to see a lot of the beautiful landscape and the terrain and the mountains. Everything is covered in snow. It's downright beautiful. Well, here we are in beautiful downtown Whitehorse. Got here last night, it was like 46 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really, really warm. Everything was melting. By 10 p.m., it was 32 degrees and it was snowing. And overnight, it just laid down a nice thick layer of some fresh snow in downtown Whitehorse. The crazy thing is that driving to get here, you felt like you're driving through the middle of nowhere for hours and hours and hours, and then you come up on the city. It's pretty wild to me how these cities exist out here. I'm going to start out this morning. I've got about a 6-hour drive up to Dawson City, which is north of here. So from here I'm going to leave the Alaskan Highway, head out on the Klondike Highway all the way to Dawson City. Been driving now for 32 hours, and according to the map I've got about 21 hours yet to go. So it's a big trek, but making our way for sure. Guys, living the van life stickers, living the van life hats, living the van life t-shirts, or maybe it's living the van life hoodie. Whoa. Guys, don't be a fool, be cool. livingthevanlife.com, go check it out, get yourself some LTVL swag, lots to choose from. livingthevanlife.com. Okay, Dawson City, let's go. About 100 miles into the Klondike Highway and found this cool little general store. Got a spot to stretch the legs, feed the Sprinter van. The back of my van here is a lifeline to tools and equipment that I need in the back. So just about every time I stop and fuel, I try to hit it with the ice scraper and the brush. I've had this actually freeze up on me at one point and not be able to get inside. And on we go. The mighty and the wild Yukon River that runs from the interior of British Columbia up through the Yukon before it eventually ends up in the Bering Sea. But right now, this scenery, absolutely stunning. And the fact that it's clear out with sunshine is the icing on the cake. I couldn't be more thrilled right now with the way this is going. After mile just clicking by. I've been driving for 36.5 hours since I left Northwest Washington. The territory, the landscape, the snow, it's just a complete winter wonderland. At least 17 to 18 more hours to go to reach the Arctic Ocean. So here we've made it the whole 331-mile trek from Whitehorse up to Dawson City.
Well, in my absence, I'll be surely missing you. I've been working every day, and I sure hope your love is too.
How do you know when you are deep into the far north of Canada? That's when you find a snowmobile sitting outside the pub, just idling to stay warm, so when they're done with their cocktails at the bar, they just load up on the snow machine and they get the hell out of here.
My name is Al Sider. I live here in Dawson. I've lived here for 18 years. I used to operate the taxi, the only legal taxi in Dawson, but it went bankrupt due to COVID. It has gotten as cold as -50 Celsius, which is about, well, maybe -60 on the Fahrenheit scale.
Wow.
And this year, the amount of snow that we've got is a lot more snow than we've had in last 18 years. Oh, mostly just walk my dog and go on hikes. I do a little bit of hunting and fishing. There's a lot of dog sledding, and as you can tell, there are a few bars that are open, a few restaurants.
There's fire going on down there.
Where?
I want to go on down. Gazebo.
Oh, okay.
Now we know we're in Canada, that is for sure. I'm gonna go find myself a nice warm pub, enjoy a cocktail or two before turning in for the night.
Lord, I know I've done some evil in my time, but that don't mean there ain't no goodness in this evil heart of mine. And it don't mean that I can't see the light.
It seems to be about Dawson City where things start to get severely into the negative zone. Hey Siri, what's the temperature outside?
It's -24 degrees outside.
Right now it's showing as 67 degrees here inside the van. I would consider this being the first night in the true far north. Okay guys, I'm gonna go hit the hay and wake up in the morning because we've got a big drive as we start up the Dempster Highway, working our way towards the Arctic Circle and this wintertime adventure. Alright guys, catch you in the morning. It's not broken. How's that for some cold temperatures right there? Holy hell. -40 degrees Fahrenheit. We have officially entered the insanity zone. The zone where the Celsius scale and the Fahrenheit scale actually start crossing each other. It's -40 degrees Celsius as well. The good news is, actually survived through the night. This is by far the coldest that I have ever camped in my van. It hurts to breathe, which is actually pretty crazy. I can feel my nostrils like freezing up. I've only been outside for maybe 2 minutes. This is wild. The van did everything it was meant to be. The diesel heater cranking away. I actually had to wake up in the middle of the night and turn the heat down because it had gotten too hot. It was like 75 degrees inside there. The fact that the diesel heater kept everything so warm inside the van it's a huge testament to that. But not only that, there has to be something that actually runs that heater, and that's where the Battleborn batteries come into play. And here we are at -40 degrees, and this whole entire operation is depending on the Battleborn lithium batteries. It has become the lifeline of this whole entire project. All the camera gear is charged there, all my lighting, most importantly the heat. Here's the true question of all, is how does a diesel Sprinter van start at -40 degrees Fahrenheit without being plugged in? I do not have a block heater on this. A lot of what we're hearing right now on that cold startup, all the pulleys are cold, all the belts are cold. That's just a matter of how that's got to work until this thing gets warmed up. All that stuff will quiet down. But the good news is, it started. Hell yeah. Outside maybe 5 minutes. Mustache is already collecting ice. Sleepy little town, but yet has so much character. Super cool. All right, let's get this show on the road. We got a trip to the Arctic Ocean to make. This is the start of the Dempster Highway, 541 miles to Tuktoyaktuk. I've prepared myself. I've prepared my equipment. It's time to put it to the test and see if we can conquer the Dempster Highway in the middle of winter all the way to the Arctic Ocean. I'd be lying to you 100% if I said that I was not nervous about this trek. Matter of fact, I'm nervous as hell. This is definitely the zone where everything becomes no joke. I have to be very, very careful with everything that I do. Everything has to be calculated and well thought out. These are very dangerous temperatures for sure, and we're about to embark on this journey. Let's see what it's all about. Unbelievable. I can't even put into words to explain what it's like to be here. The journey that it's taken to get this far. After more than 40 hours of driving, I'm standing in the most unbelievable winter landscape. I'm just at awe of this landscape and just the remoteness. I've seen it in pictures, I've seen it in movies and videos, but to actually stand here, you don't get this feeling by looking at it in books or pictures or videos. It's a whole different feeling. And just the journey of what it takes to get out here and how remote it is, it makes it truly special. And it's one thing to do it in the summertime, but to take on the feat of doing it in the wintertime, it's definitely an accomplishment that feels very, very good. I tell you what, I have never been more happy to find a bit of civilization about 250 miles into the Dempster Highway. That is a long remote drive through some treacherous winter roads just in time for a magnificent sunset. Well, good morning guys. We are waking up here this morning. It's negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit. There is a bit of a wind blowing here this morning, so the wind chill factor is definitely down there. I'm here at Eagle Plains, which is a halfway point between the junction and Inuvik on the way to Tuktoyaktuk. Here you've got gasoline, you've got diesel, you've got a small automotive repair shop. But then also there is a hotel, a lounge, and a restaurant here for the truckers and the travelers who are passing through to stop and bed down overnight. And I tell you what, that was a welcome sight when I rolled up on that here last night. I've had to make quite a few adjustments to the Sprinter van in order to make it work. The temperatures are so cold, and when you are driving 50 to 60 miles an hour, you can imagine the wind chill factor on your whole entire cooling system. It becomes too overpowering for the engine to actually keep up and build enough heat to operate properly. In fact, it got to the point where the diesel exhaust fluid system was beginning to fail. So I've spent the last hour or so shoving cardboard into my grill to block that cold air and allow the Sprinter van to actually get up to proper operating temperatures. I've found that that has been hugely important up here in the far north. Hopefully this does the trick and we can get ourselves up and into Inuvik. Alright guys, let's get this adventure started back up and let's hit the road. Still got about another 250 miles to go on to Inuvik. Negative 40 degrees. This is crazy. To be able to jump out of the Sprinter van for just a second and experience it's one thing, but if anything were to go wrong in trying to survive out here, it wouldn't take long. This is no joke. I can feel my nostrils freezing as I breathe air in. It's actually really hard to breathe in. Literally, if you have your hands out for not even a minute or two, it instantly wants to freeze. Just to operate the camera, it's almost impossible. Then you add a wind chill factor and it's insane. Let this be an example of how remote this is here. Driving along on this highway, I come across this sign: watch for aircraft landing on roadway. They're so remote that there's no airstrips out here, that they actually use the road as emergency landing strips. Way the heck out here. Very, very dangerous indeed. Oh my God. Oh shit. Whew. Literally out for the 2 minutes to take a picture of the sun and the trees. Everything freezes on your face. You can feel your eyelashes freezing. It doesn't take long. This right here is the Arctic Circle. That means we are officially in the Arctic. From here on north, there's at least one day out of the year where the sun does not set for 24 hours. And there's also one day out of the year that the sun does not rise for 24 hours. And that is what defines the Arctic Circle. No big deal. Just eating some lunch up here at the Arctic Circle. I think that's one thing that I've realized, that I need to make more time to stop and actually eat some food, nourish my energy. The last, I can't even remember how many days I've been driving now, but 5 or 6 days I've just been driving solid. And it's easy to not stop and eat, but it's important. I notice it definitely helps with the mood and the energy to just get through these drives. So I made myself some bone broth with some ready-made fettuccine noodles, and I actually had some Frito corn chips sitting in the cabinet, so I went ahead and threw those in just for some extra added texture, but makes a bit of a soup. The fact that it's nice and warm is perfect, because right now we're in the Arctic. Just screams through here, and the absolute frigid temperatures put a whole nother vice on the landscape. This here is truly the Arctic. So far I've driven all the way to the very top of British Columbia, all the way through the Yukon, and now entering Northwest Territory. The van still continues to be a champ, although I've had to make some modifications to it for it to actually withstand this cold. It's much, much happier now, and now this Sprinter van is getting us all the way up to the Arctic. Northwest Territories, let's go! ice road, as soon as I crossed north into Northwest Territories, has become absolutely phenomenal. It is smooth. I don't know that I've ever driven anything this smooth. Definitely none of the freeways down south. This is like a NASCAR track up here in the frozen north of Canada. The mighty Mackenzie River, the longest river in all of Canada. It also turns out that the Mackenzie is the second largest drainage basin of any North American river after the Mississippi. Now in the summertime, this river crossing on the Dempster Highway is actually operated by a small ferry that carries cars and people across the Mackenzie. But here in the Arctic, in the wintertime, temperatures get so cold that the whole entire river actually freezes over. They have to pull the ferry boat on shore, and the only way to cross the Mackenzie River on the Dempster Highway in the wintertime is by driving this ice road. Rolled into Inuvik this evening about sunset. So I'm just throwing together a quick simple meal with some items that I had here. I had a can of salmon, so I decided to make a bit of a tuna style salad here. So I mixed some mayonnaise with it, some relish, even put some bacon bits in there and mixed it all up. I also had some ready-made rice. I just boiled some water in the jet boil, getting that heated up, and gonna put that with the tuna salad. I've got some bread over here, and of course got a whiskey mixed up, some good old Canadian Club here this evening. But yeah, just hanging out here inside the van. You know, the temperatures are far, far below zero, very dangerous temperatures, and it's taxing on the vehicle, and it's just remote, so there's a lot of nerves of just a lot of distance to cover in some extreme temperatures. With not a lot of people around, and a lot can go wrong very easily. But other than that, it is absolutely gorgeous. It truly felt like you're on a different planet. So that was very cool. Enjoying my evening, sipping a cup of whiskey, listening to some music, and ready for a meal. Then I'm gonna hunker down for the evening, catch a good night's sleep, and then tomorrow we head on to Tuck. But I would say this wraps up this episode of Living the Van Life. Definitely stay tuned for episode number 3 as we continue this journey through the Arctic and all the way up to Tuktoyaktuk and the Arctic Ocean. We still have lots of territory and adventures to explore north here of Inuvik. If you guys are new to the channel and have not yet subscribed, I'd like to invite you to hit the subscribe button. Make sure and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button, because that's what's going to notify you anytime videos like this are uploaded. Most importantly, I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section down below. Make sure and hit the like button and share with any friends or family that you think might find value in these episodes. Alright guys, I'm going to get out of here and hit the hay, as we've got a long journey ahead of us tomorrow. Peace out. Keep on trucking.